Hello everyone. Today we will learn how to study your own games, learn from your mistakes with the help of Lichess. Studying, analyzing, and then writing notes to your own games um, is a training method that's recommended by chess masters. So with the help of Lichess, we will try to uh, learn how to do that. And it's especially important to study and analyze the games that you lose so that you can learn from these mistakes and make sure that you don't make the same mistakes again. Okay, first of all, we will create a Lichess study. So I will show you how to do that. Go to the menu Learn, Study, My Studies. Then I'm going to create a new study. Okay, I will call it Games I Lost in Tournaments. And I'm going to make it visibility unlisted so that only the people whom I share it with will have access to it. I'm going to start. So here for chapter 1, I can enter a game. So here I chose a game that I recently lost because yeah, that's where you can learn most. So to enter the name, the 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 typical way of entering the name of a chess game is white's name, black's name, and if you want, you can give the tournament details. So I will enter the names and the tournament details. And yeah, and I'm going to say create chapter. And as you see here, the chapter 1 gets renamed based on the details I entered. So I'm going to look at my score sheet and quickly enter the moves. So at this moment, I'm not going to be worried too much about analyzing the game or learning from the mistakes. I just want to enter all the moves accurately so that I can study the game. I'm just dragging and dropping my pieces as if I'm playing a game. I think most of you are familiar with that way of moving pieces on an electronic chessboard. Okay, white won here. Sorry, black won the game here. I resigned. So I have finished entering the moves, and let's try to analyze the game. I think there's a way to enter the result. How do I enter the result? Maybe I information is it? No, right? Da, 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 da. Yeah, I think I'll figure out later. So let's go through the moves. Please make sure this computer is switched off because this is the engine that shows the moves. Better not. And this is a computer database. Let's switch it off because it can be a distraction. Okay, I'm going to quickly move through the game moves. So here I can add a comment. I want to add a comment about the openings. So this is the King's Indian defense, our Bach variation. So I won't go too deep into things, but for the moment I'll just explain things in a descriptive way. So here B5, I had not played this variation before, but I was kind of familiar with the concept. I was familiar with the concept from a similar opening called the Benko Gambit. So the idea is for black to sacrifice a pawn and then use these open lines to attack white's queen side with the help of this bishop on the long diagonal. Okay, so already black is putting pressure on white's queen side. White is a pawn up, but there's a huge amount of pressure on this pawn as well as the overall white's queen side. Okay, here the idea is black sacrifices another pawn so that after bishop takes pawn, bishop takes bishop, queen takes pawn, the knight arrives on this outpost square d3, and with the push pawn push c4 would have a solid base on d3. However, at this point I realized that although black gets an advantage and black will overrun my queen side, and once the knight arrives on d3, I would not be able to save this pawn. The rook would arrive here. I also noticed that once black loses this bishop, his king side would lack any support of pieces. Only the knight is there to support the king. All the powerful pieces would be on the queen side. So I thought if I make a lightning strike at his king's position afterwards, I may get a chance to launch a mating attack. So it's going to be very exciting. So I actually captured the pawn. But what's interesting is, could I have captured this knight instead? So it makes sense. Did I miss something? So it makes sense to calculate those variations. So I'm going to move this pawn to capture the knight. So as you can see here on the right side, it opens a new variation. So this new variation or an alternative path the game might have taken would be shown as a horizontal line or a variation. Okay, what can black do? So you can consider, so now the queen is attacked. This looks the most logical continuation. The king is under check. I don't want to play knight d1 because knight e4 looks very powerful. So the knight c1. I think black is pretty good. Yeah, I prefer black's position, although black has 5 pawns, white has, yeah, it's absolutely even if you count the points. But uh, I think black's position is better because of the power of the rooks. The knight is helpless. It's pinned. 8th rank. Threats. Mating threats. Pawn is under attack. Strong bishop. Considering all this, I prefer black. So I think it takes b4. Pawn takes knight would have been a mistake. So if it's a mistake, I'm going to avoid that symbol. It's a mistake. Sorry, not h6. Uh, a takes b4 would have been a mistake. See, symbols can be used to explain, um, provide annotations, like rather than writing in long sentences, you can just say it's a mistake. At the very end, where I said black is better, so you can say black is better with this symbol rather than saying in words, see, and it appears. So if you read chess books, you will come across these notations. So it makes sense to learn, understand, and use these symbols when you annotate chess games. Okay, let's see what actually happened in the game. I took the pawn, he took it. Okay, knight arrived as expected, nothing surprising. So here, I think this is a good move. I awarded a exclamation mark. That means I believe it's a good move because it's launching a counter strike at the opponent's king. I'm, I have sacrificed the pawn. Anyway, there was no easy way of defending this. But who will checkmate first? That is the question. F5. I believe that's also a good move, directly attacking the king's position. C4, a very good move by the opponent. Not only making the knight an outpost, but all of a sudden now the queen is entering the attack. F takes g6, queen c5 check, king h1, knight f2, rook takes f2. I had to give up the exchange. If I played this, then I would have lost my queen to this discovered check. Yeah. So, yeah, I had no other choice. Rook takes f2. I had calculated all this, so nothing surprising, but I was kind of hoping I would get some chances of a checkmate. E5. A very good move once again because I had to bring another piece because he had defended all the squares that I was attacking. I could have played this, hoping for a checkmate on h8, but he could have blocked it with the knight. So the only way that I can continue to the attack is to take the knight towards the king side, maybe here, here. But what's preventing that is the pawn on e4. So there's no time to wait. So I don't care about giving up the pawn. I move forward. Yeah, once again, a very good move. So I think both of us are playing really well at this point. So obviously he can't capture this. So that variation appears here. See, knight takes e4 would have been a blunder. A blunder is a losing move that is shown by two question marks because then it will lead to queen h7 and it is obviously checkmate. But here I thought I was winning, but then my opponent found a brilliant move. So this was actually a rapid game. We only had 13 minutes with 2-second increments. So only a very strong player can find moves like this. Rook a3. So he has sacrificed his queen. I could have taken the queen. Actually, I took the queen because there was no other option. Alternatively, if I took the rook, then there would be a check here. Yeah, if you play this, then it's easily checkmate. If we play here, then once again it's checkmate. So I have no alternative, but actually take the, yeah, it seems I have no alternative. I could have moved the rook. Probably I could have moved the rook out of the way. It's, yeah, maybe this is playable. Yeah, this makes, yeah, still he can't take my knight because of the same checkmate. So maybe I missed something here. Rook d1. Probably, I would add a comment here. Is worth considering. Maybe I'll check it with the computer. Okay, what really happened? I took his queen. He checked here. What can he do? Rook takes g1. G1, rook b1 resign because although it is not checkmate, I could stop it. But then rook d1 check, king f2, knight g4 check, forking the king and queen. I move here. Knight takes queen. King takes. Yeah, he has enough material to win the game easily. But anyway, it's a good game, an exciting game. Um, yeah, so it doesn't matter that you lose. You should still be able to enjoy the game. So I actually enjoy this game. It doesn't matter what the result is. If you really like chess, you should be able to enjoy losses as well. And yeah, so I really enjoyed this loss. Some people may Find it surprising how you can enjoy losses, but it's a good game. Now let me move to the computer. So I strongly recommend not to use the computer engine and do the initial analysis like I did without the help of the computer. So here you can switch on Stockfish that comes with Lichess. So I'll take the game to one of the critical points. I think it was here that I actually took the pawn on h6. What does the computer say? Here, see what the computer is thinking. Computer is thinking I should have actually taken the bishop. So sorry, the bishop should have taken the knight. Why is that? Okay, so what do I achieve here? Okay, this it's really hard to understand. Okay, so it creates some sort of escape square for the king and it threatens pawn takes knight, so queen takes rook is not a big issue. Okay, that's what the computer says. Okay, once you play that, okay, the pawn pushes forward, trying to break the opponent's position. King g7, rook a b1. Yeah. So yeah, it keeps the chances alive. It doesn't drastically go in one direction. White, according to the computer, it says plus 1.4. That means white is better, but still it may not be a winning advantage. Anyway, so I think I can give white an edge here. Me, based on what the computer says, let me see white is better. And apparently this is the better move. So I'm going to give it the symbol. Where is that symbol? There's a symbol for better ease. Okay. Yes, I can't find it here. So maybe I'll just put the text is better according to Stockfish. Yeah. Yeah, another place I want to check my analysis was. So let's see whether my moves were correct here. Knight d3. Yeah, h3. Okay, sorry. Let me move back. Where was I? Here. Yeah, computer actually prefers h3. Okay. Ah, no. It changes mind and then after a few seconds of thinking, it picks my move as the best move. So that's pretty good. So at least computer agrees with me there. Rook b2. Yeah. So it once again agrees with my move as the best move. c4. Once again, I have played the best move according to computer. So this is pretty much a forced variation, it seems. Anyway, when he played rook a3, is the game totally lost? No, apparently here the game is drawn, or at least the game is even if I found the right defense. The right defense is simply moving the rook away. Simply moving it away because the knight, my knight still cannot be captured. Okay. Then I'm threatening to capture his queen, so he has to deal with this. So he'll have to move somewhere like here, and I can continue the attack with a move like d6. And both players have equal chances. So this is something I missed, and it's an extremely difficult move to find given time pressure. But yeah, something I missed. Anyway, this I think this is sufficient analysis. So what it shows is I was pretty good when it comes to making decisions about deciding when to attack. My attack was correct, but my calculations were not accurate. I could have calculated. So that's something I need to work on. I mean, these calculations are not very long. Two moves deep, three moves deep. Sometimes, like here, rook d1. I simply did not even consider this move. So I should have considered more candidate moves. I only considered here. I only considered rook takes rook or knight takes queen. Both end in losses. I didn't think of this rook d1. So the lesson is consider more candidate moves. Don't just think there's only one or two moves. Anyway, I think this would have given you a good idea how to use leeches first to analyze, annotate your game, and then to verify your analysis using the computer. But please make sure that you use the computer at the very end, not at the start. Another feature you can use is, let me switch off the engine, is the opening explorer or the opening tree here, the book. Let me go to the very beginning of the game. Okay, right. So what this shows is knight f6 is the most common move in their database. Leeches have 550,000 master games playing this. So as we move along, you can see that we are making theory moves, and the number of games they have becomes less. So this has been reached 1937 times in the Lichess master game database. Here, the most common move is h6. My opponent played b5, which was only played a few hundred times. And here you can see the games that has been played, the top games. So there's a game between Kasparov and Spassky played way back in 1981, where Spassky beat Kasparov with black. So you can click on that if you want to learn from Kasparov or Spassky how to play. You can look at that game and learn from the master. So one of the ways to really learn an opening, look at the games played by masters using the same opening. So here, Kasparov has played a4. This is where I deviated from the main line by capturing the pawn. Apparently, the pawn to a4 is the more accurate move. So like this, you can analyze your game, learn about the opening where you made mistakes, and make notes that not to make the same mistakes again. So it's a very powerful tool, and it's a great way to become a better chess player. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will analyze your games, especially games you play in classical chess, and learn from your mistakes and become better chess players.